Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be actually talking about a topic that one of the commenters on another video brought up. So this was by Ross Silver on a separate video, talking about some grief that he's dealing with and some of the symptoms that he's concerned about and just how he can start recovering as he's having a really hard time coping right now. So he talked about being divorced from his wife, feeling separated from his child. I assume that was with the divorce. Some of the things that he talked about that he was experiencing is just a loss of interest and pleasure in activities like eating, just other activities he used to enjoy, isolating socially, and having some physiological symptoms such as pain, headaches, things like that. And that's what I really want to touch on today, both what it means to grieve in a healthy way and how to heal from that. So let's dive in. So grief is super complicated. It's individual. That process is so different for every person. And so one myth that I want to dispel right away is the stages of grief. A lot of people think you have to progress through the different ones, whether it's like anger to denial to bargaining and then acceptance or whatever it is. They're not linear. There's not a predetermined time set for those, and they're more descriptive than prescriptive. What I mean by that is they describe some of the ways that people cope or emotionally handle the idea of grief and loss. But that does not mean you have to go through each stage to finally get to the promised land of being okay. I know what this commenter Ross Silver was talking about is that there could be a loss of a sense of identity along with the loss of the relationships themselves. If he defined himself as a husband, as a father, and suddenly those things are taken away from him, a lot of his sense of identity has changed now, and he's going to have to rediscover that through the process of grieving. And for anyone to figure out who they are after losing a loved one. So here's the first thing that I'll say about grief. The first thing we need to do is to get rid of this strong and weak dichotomy. And this happens a lot for men, particularly in Western cultures, but this idea of mental health and being able to bounce back or be resilient being a sign of strength, so that we get into this pattern where we feel like, oh, I need to get over it in a certain period of time, or I need to not show it, or I need to be strong for everybody. There may be some realities in some cases where you might be called on to be supporting other people as they're dealing with grief, but this dichotomy really hurts people by not allowing us to feel the way we feel. And when we chase away those emotions, what usually happens is they come back stronger, and we don't actually work through the grieving process. We just hide away from it. And sometimes there are expectations of us too that we place on ourselves. I've had clients tell me that maybe when one grandparent passed away, they felt really emotional and they couldn't go to work or school or whatever. And then when another grandparent passed away, they didn't feel as much. And now they're feeling guilty because of their lack of reaction. Did I love my grandparent less? Does that mean that I cared less for them? And the short answer is no, because even within the same person, different losses will trigger different emotions. And we don't know exactly why, but that's just the way it is. And to feel like we're either strong or weak for having certain emotions or not having certain feelings about something, that is unhelpful and stunts the process of healing. The second thing I'll say is to really lean into community. And Western culture especially is so individualistic. We think that we have to work through it ourselves. And for some people, maybe that's the way the process goes. But for the majority of people, I would say, lean on the community that you have, whether it's spiritual faith community, whether it's a support group, maybe it's a group of parents around you, friends, whoever is an important part of your life. I would hope that that would be the time when they are willing to pour back into you, to be able to give to you, to support you in that time. And a lot of people that I've talked to going through grief feel bad about asking for that help during that time. And again, this is not about strength or weakness. This is about you being in a time that is very emotionally vulnerable, and that means that you need that help at that time. And from what I've seen, most people are more than happy to give that help as soon as they are asked. And sometimes we just need to get over ourselves to be able to ask, to be able to lean into that community and have them support us for that time. The last thing that I'll say about this is number 3, is to engage in some kind of ritual or mindful practice. And what I mean by that is ritual is baked into a lot of different religions and faith communities because it helps provide order in a sense of chaos, a sense of predictability and meaning. And so it doesn't have to be a specifically religious ritual, but it can just be if you enjoy taking walks with that person, maybe walking along a favorite trail that you all used to walk together, or doing something that you two used to share. That can be a ritual that honors their memory, allows you to really feel some of those emotions and connect with what that relationship was. And this is particular when we're talking about death, but can also be meaningful when it comes to a family splitting apart. That sense of ritual, in addition to providing that sense of order and meaning to what feels like a very meaningless or purposeless time in someone's life, can also lead to the second part of this tip, which is mindfulness, being mindful of our emotions. If it is something like lighting a candle for them or taking a walk the way you two used to, those can be times to reflect, to be with our emotions. A lot of times, especially in our culture, we want to run away from those uncomfortable emotions. But what happens is that we really need to actually engage with them. We need to have time to be quiet and let those emotions come out, and having those kinds of outlets to feel, to have that emotion, allows us to start sorting through what that all really means, who we are in the aftermath of that, and how we move forward even if we don't feel like we'll ever be able to. And mindfulness at its most basic, being intentionally aware of how we are feeling and not judging it. And so the more we are mindful, the more we're able to accept that I am feeling this way, to not feel like I have to be strong or have to feel a certain way, and then to be able to keep moving forward, to allow those emotions to be expressed, and then to move forward. Everyone, thank you so much for checking out this video. This is a very heavy topic, but I think is really necessary to talk about, especially as we are in a society that is very uncomfortable with difficult emotions, with things that are complex, with things that don't resolve easily. I'm never intending to diagnose anybody on this channel, and I am never intending to give one-size-fits-all advice. Some of these are rather vague intentionally because the process of grieving is so individual to each person. I do want to share these so that we can break out of the shame and stigma that can be associated with grieving or just feeling emotions or wanting and needing help, so that we can work to incorporate grief back into our list of emotions that are healthy and appropriate for people to have. Again, thank you for checking out this video. Please like and subscribe. That helps our channel to grow and to continue making content for you all. Again, thank you all for checking out the video. See you next time.